All right, everyone, welcome back to another amazing session from Power BI Tips, quick tips here. With me, I'd like to introduce to you an amazing PM from the Microsoft team. Let me bring him on here. Welcome, Sid. Welcome to the channel. We really appreciate you jumping in here, talking to us today about our amazing topic. As the title says in the video here, we're going to talk about the TMDL extension for VS Code. I think you guys are going to be super impressed. Anyone who builds Power BI visuals or reports models, semantic models, you're gonna love this feature. And man, I'm so excited. This is gonna be incredible. I'm just fundamentally, this will change how we do work in TMDL or with models this morning. This is gonna be so excited. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm so giddy. Sid, take it away, man. Give us an introduction. What are we gonna learn about today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey everyone, I'm Sid. I'm a program manager on the Power BI product team. So today we're going to be talking about the TMDL extension for Visual Studio Code. And you may have seen that this is you may have heard this already, that there's an extension on the marketplace that'll let you work with your TMDL files. Well, what we've done is actually today we pushed an update live that's going to give you a much better experience there. It's a whole new experience that you're going to get for that TMDL extension. And I'm excited to walk through it with you today and kind of go over sort of like how we're going to use the extension to really give you that professional developer workflow. We're going to talk through TMDL, why use it, and also how we're going to use it with the extension in a workflow that's going to give you a new great experience.
Love
So
it.
yeah, Mike, should we launch into it?
Yeah, go ahead, bud. Share your screen and get your PowerPoint up, and we'll share your screen here. So, a couple pieces of context. We're gonna jump into just some very intro level presentation pieces here, just to kind of get your head around like what's going on inside the presentation. So let me get your screen up here, Sid. I mean, if you got it, yep, looks like you got it there. All right, we're seeing their normal PowerPoint slide deck. So jump on into slide mode, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Awesome.
Boom,
Yeah.
we got it.
So the title of this, yep, perfect. So the title of this is actually Semantic Modeling as Code with TMDL, because that's the experience we're really talking about today. Semantic modeling before, maybe you go into Power BI Desktop, you'd modify your model there. Maybe you'd modify it in Service, and you'd work with the UI elements there. But we want to introduce an experience where you can do your semantic modeling, you can make changes to your model as code, as a developer should, as you should as a developer, really. So that's essentially what the TMDL extension is going to be bringing you. So let's get started with just an overview of what is TMDL. So TMDL stands for Tabular Model Definition Language. And the core tenets of TMDL, what we're trying to do here is you may have already heard of TMSL, which was Tabular Model Scripting Language, which was the previous format for storing semantic model metadata. What we have here is this is going to be the format going forward. TMDL is a human readable YAML-like syntax that is going to show all your tabular model, everything inside of your model. It's going to show you all the different objects, the properties. And the first tenet here I'm going to talk about is how readable and editable is. I mean, just looking at this picture, you're looking at the objects here. You got your tables, your measures, your columns, and they're all laid out in a format that really reflects the structure that you're going to be working with, the TOM structure. So the columns and the measures go under the table. It's tabbed. It's very easy to look at. The properties attached to each are also tabbed to show you just how easy it is to look at. And it makes it very readable and also makes it very easy to work with if you're editing directly. The second tenet we're going to be talking about is how great TMDL is for collaboration. If you look off to the side, this is what your file system is going to look like when you're working inside of the semantic model of folder for your PBIPs. And what it's going to look like is you have these different upper level folders like tables, roles, perspectives. You have your TMDL files inside. And for tables, each TMDL file maps to an individual table. So if you're working with your team, each of you want to work on a different table at once. Instead of causing merge conflicts, or if you do have it already hooked up to Git by working in TMDL and working as a single file, you can each work on individual piece of the model. And it just makes it so much easier for version control and for collaboration.
So Sid, I want to quickly double tap on that comment right there you made. Previously, and this is a game changer for us as developers. We're looking at this and we're saying, if you notice in the left-hand section, Sid's got a whole list of tiny files, and they're all .tmdl files. So, you know, there's a TMDL file for every single table. There's a TMDL file for roles. There's one for perspectives. This is amazing because previously, correct me if I'm wrong, the TMSL, the TMSL language, is only in JSON. It's just JSON formatted only. So, and it's one mega file. It's just one large object that we have to work with. So if I'm editing the product table and Sid, you're editing the sales table, we would have a merge conflict because it's the same file potentially changing in different ways,
Oh
or it
yeah.
would just be difficult to manage those changes between the one big file.
No, absolutely.
Awesome.
And that's the key thing here. It's that the experience before, if you were working with semantic models as code, was working in that single large mega TMSL file. And
Yeah,
even though it was doable, there's a better way to do it. And that's what we're trying to push forward with TMDL here. And this,
love it.
again, this is going to be the format for semantic model metadata moving forward. So
This is
I'm
awesome.
super excited. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. And then there's that final piece here. One thing that's really nice about having these different files is actually, if you look back over here, I'm just going to go flip back to the other slide real quick. If you see, there's a folder called tables, right? So each individual file maps to a certain table. Well, that also gives you the option to drag and drop a table template that you already have, for example, a date table, into that folder. And once those changes are synced up to service, you've just taken a template and you've just added it. So you can have your reusable objects. You have an about reusable object, a calendar, time intelligence, and you can use these standardized across all of your organization's semantic models. And you just drag from this, drop it into the current TMDL project that you're working on, and you're good to go. That's what's so cool about this, how reusable it is.
Dude, I can't even. My mind is blowing right now. Like the amount of work I would have to go figure out how to duplicate a table, like in desktop, I'm going into Power Query. I'm going in, I'm making a new query. I got to make a new table. Like all these pieces, like click upon click upon click. You're telling me I can literally just copy, paste, rename, boom, everything's there, ready to go. This is sick. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and that exact problem is what this is trying to solve. It's another one of the reasons this is one of the core tenets here. And it's
Love it.
not just readability of the tables. You can also have a file full of your like measures that you just consistently use
Yeah,
across your semantic models, and you can just drag from that, copy paste it, good to go. And it's just super
amazing.
easy to do that.
Amazing.
All right, now let's dive into what we mean with semantic modeling as code specifically. And now is where the TMDL extension for VS Code comes in, and is officially gone public preview as of I think it's about 3 hours ago today. If you go to the
Yeah.
marketplace, if you go to the marketplace now, you'll see an updated version. If you've previously seen that there was a TMDL extension, and yes, there was, but it was just simply restricted to syntax highlighting. It just made sure that you have some coloring to work with, so that you could work with TMDL at least in the interim. But now our extension is overhauled. I'm going to go through it with you, just how much power it's going to give you as you work with your TMDL files. So again, go to the marketplace now. Feel free to take a look, download it, and start playing with it as soon as right now. Really, you can play with it alongside me. Here's what it looks like, by the way. Got a nice little icon there. Didn't have an icon previously.
I love
Glad we
it. It's
added that
great.
in. But yeah, let's go over some of the different features that come with this just real quick, because I know we really want to launch into a demo. So I'm just gonna try to breeze through the rest of this, and we can get
Sure.
to the fun part.
Yeah.
First thing, we got semantic highlighting. So we got some updates to the highlighting we had previously with the extension that was on the marketplace, where now you've got the right coloring for your objects, for your object properties, for values. It just looks beautiful, honestly, and it's going to make it so much easier to work with and to read. Then you've got autocomplete IntelliSense. This is something that we know and love as developers. We just want the ability to kind of turn off our brains sometimes. Just look, oh, there's a few options that I can choose from. I just hit tab as we're typing. It just autocompletes right there. And what's really nice about this is this autocomplete is also set up to give you the right set of options for whatever level you're working at. If you have a column, you hit tab, you're now in the properties level, the object properties for that column. And so whatever you want to see available, those are the tokens that are going to be available as autocomplete. So it's just going to really help you even learn how to use TMDL and how to work with TMDL too, which is really nice.
This is a feature. I saw you demo this one at the Microsoft Fabric Ignite conference over in Stockholm, and this blew my mind because, yeah, I know how to format some of these things about columns. I know some things that are out there, but like format string, what's the name of that property? Like, is numeric type, or is there's other values here, like is name inferred, is data type inferred, like all these other properties of information that are going to be given to us. You need to know the naming of the property in order to use it. Having help like this is going to be huge. Like, again, the example here is incredible. Data type, it knows I'm in the data type, and these are the data types I should be using for typing this in. This is massive. It's going to really provide a lot of assistance for me as a pro developer, building exactly what I want in a super fast way. This is incredible. This is awesome.
Absolutely. So beyond autocomplete just making it so that we can be a little bit lazy, it also really does teach us how to use TMDL and how to work with TMDL. So you don't have to be flipping back and forth between the docs.
Love it.
And then we've got another really interesting property here, which is the error diagnostics. So what we have here is if you make syntactical errors in your files, instead of having to have it serialized and you see the error in service once everything is synced up there, this will just take care of this stuff for you. So any of these serialization errors, we're going to catch them ahead of time. And we're going to make sure that if you're entering something in, if you just make a small mistake, you mistype the name of a object property, for example, we'll catch that right here and we'll show all this to you. This is just like any experience you'd get with any other language, with Python, with TypeScript, with anything really.
Yeah, this is super important.
Yeah, especially because when we're working with things as code, we want to make sure that our code is correct, that we've got some validation even before we actually run our code. So it's great. It's absolutely great to have this. So let's go and talk about a broader level what else we get by having a TMDL extension in Visual Studio Code specifically. Because if you thought about it, that's all stuff that's really specific to any really text editor that works with TMDL files. But why VS Code? So the first thing is that we can combine what we do in editing these files with the Git integration that's already built into VS Code. And this is what that looks like. If you go over to your source control tab here, that's the third one down with that branch symbol right there, you can set this up to hook up straight to your workspace that's already connected to Git. And this is where you can do everything. We work in Git workflow. You can stage your changes, commit them, and sync them up. And this is what's going to really help you just work with the model and push all those changes to service very quickly, very easily. And this view you get right here, showing you the diffs between what it looked like before and what it looked like after you made the changes, it's just going to be great to help you understand what's going on in the files. What exactly are you pushing? What changes have been made?
I love this feature here. So again, I'm a business user who's turned developer, right? So I didn't used to use VS Code. So Sid's coming at this from like purely the pro dev space. This is awesome. Love this feature here. But let me speak to you users out there that are just business users that are starting with this experience, right? This is an amazing way for us to write exactly what we need, build the measures, add the properties we want. But what Sid's shown here is this is incredible because it's showing me what changes that I make in the individual file. And then if I'm going to commit them or push them into the model, I have a very clear diff of these items. As a business user, this is so immensely helpful for me. And this is the only way I want to work now because this is just such a powerful experience. So I can't speak highly enough how great this experience is. And this is not something you built, Sid, especially for this extension. This is like a default feature of VS Code. So you just get this out of the box. This is going to be supported, and all the richness that comes with editing files and committing them to Git is now just supported, which is amazing.
It is, and it's so great how we work this out, right? Because we have this whole thing with Microsoft Fabric, with Power BI. We have this idea of Git integration and integrating our workspaces with Git so that our artifacts all live in version control. So the fact that we can hook up to Git and specifically to the repos through here means that we can make our changes here, use Git to version control and get them up to the repo, and that's reflected within the workspace. And that's something that's going to be a key point of the demo. It's going to be one of the stars of our demo, really. So get excited about that.
Literally, get excited.
And just for reference, this is what it looks like in TMDL versus TMZL.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to work with, you got to admit.
A lot easier to work with. What do you mean? This is
a lot easier, yeah.
Yes, let's be real here.
Okay, and then now we got to move into another really nice part about working in Visual Studio Code, and that's the support you get from GitHub Copilot. So let's just take a random example here. With GitHub Copilot, really what we want to do is we want to automate the boring stuff that'll take us a long time, really, or we just want to automate anything, really. So, for example, what we have here is we have an expression, we have a Power Query expression, and what we want to do is we just want to document it because as developers, sometimes, well, all the time, we should be documenting, and we should be making sure that others can follow on to what we've done. So why not just have GitHub Copilot take care of that for you? And this is really interesting. This is a very generalized thing. We're just asking GitHub Copilot to document something, and it knows how to do it already, even though it's not specifically trained on Power Query or on TMDL for that matter. It can learn and it can do this sort of stuff. So the possibilities really are endless with how you can use Copilot to help you out in this entire experience. We'll go over a few use cases, but it really is just going to be amazing. But yeah, that's an overview of the features, and let's get into the nice stuff. Let's get into a demo now.
Love it.
All right, let me shift on over to our workspace here. So I've set up this demo workspace here, and this is actually just working with the sample financials report that comes pre-installed with Power BI Desktop. So it's super simple. You can follow along. You can set this up too. It's going to be great. So the first thing we're going to look at here is that source control and Git integration. So let's go to the workspace real quick, and I'm just going to show you. I've done all this ahead of time just to make this quicker for us. But if I go to Git integration here, you can see that I'm hooked up to my Azure DevOps here, and I've connected to a repository and a specific branch on my project. So I've connected to the demo branch here. This is where these different artifacts here, the report and the semantic model, which are defined as a TMDL, and for the report, it's defined as the artifact metadata there as well. This is all living within that Git workspace, and it is synced up. It is synced up to what we see right here. So that TMDL, what we're going to work with, it is right now, it's live in the workspace. If you hit this source control tab right here, it's going to allow us to make sure that we want to sync, whenever we want to sync our change, it's going to let us do so. So you can see it's hooked up to demo right there. And I've already done all this ahead of time. So once I shift on over to VS Code, and I go to the source control tab right here, it's live. You see I'm on the demo branch right here. And let's take a look real quick. What's in that repository? So we've got demo financials report. This corresponds straight to the report that we have in the workspace. And same with the semantic model. We go down to the semantic model folder right here, and we have our definition. And we have our TMDL file to the side. So first, let's just take a quick look through the TMDL sales model right here, right? It's got stuff like sales price, gross sales, COGS, profit, the basic stuff. This toy example is just going to help us really understand at a basic level. Let's take a look at what this looks like. And we see we have all these columns here, but don't seem to have something pretty important to a lot of Power BI semantic models. Any guesses, Mike?
Where's all my measures? I got to be able
Exactly.
to build things with this. There's no
yeah, you got to
here.
build stuff.
Yeah,
There's a reason we're working with semantic models. We're not just working with the raw tables. We want measures. So let's do some.
Exactly.
Let's do some really simple measure examples.
Love it.
Yeah, so let's looking through all this, you'll notice that we don't have any explicit measures. I mean, we do have summarized by sum on sales, COGS, and profit. But usually, you don't want to measure just to show you what this total sales. Let's do it this way. We'll go to the top, a measure. We'll call it total sales. Oh, I got GitHub Copilot. I wasn't supposed to be showing you that just yet, but you know what? Why not? We'll take it from GitHub Copilot. So we got a measure. We can just, yeah, we can leave the annotation in there. Let's say it is, let's just call it double. And so what's really nice here is because I'm working with this in code, if I wanted to also do this for total COGS, for example, I just do that. Here, done. I'll do it for profit. Here, literally just profit. Done.
Nice.
This is all it's going to take to calculate both of them.
This is way faster to write
So
everything.
let's take a look at what this is going to look like.
This is also copying all your syntax, your formatting. So like, even though you copied the measure 3 times, you've already got the formatting ready to go for each one of these. And we can see all the definitions of formatting at once. I love this. This is a great experience.
Yeah, it's incredible. So let me just sync this up just here. So I'm going to go to source control. You see that the changes are visible here. I'm working in the file, so I can stage those changes. I'm going to quickly just say add total profit. We'll commit that. Changes. All right, should be synced. Like here, just to go hop back over the workspace real quick. Oh, looks like we got something in the source control tab. Oh, we got an update here. Let's click update all.
Oh, this is such a great experience. I'm already loving this. It's so smooth. It's so smooth. You did all the changes in VS Code and boom, things are happening. Look at this. And we've got measures already. This is sick.
Got
With
measures.
a couple clicks, we're done. This is amazing.
Yep,
I'm
that's
so
all
excited
it
about
takes.
this feature.
Yeah, and that was just a super simple use case. I mean, we didn't have to define explicit measures for those. I mean, it's good to, but we didn't have to. We can write much more complicated measures. A lot more stuff. We can define all the objects that you'd expect. We can do some even cooler stuff. For example, real quick, let me talk to Copilot and ask it to write measure the average sales COGS.
Nice.
And there you go.
It's writing it all out for you. You got it all there. Averages. It's got the column name and the call out for table correct.
Just like this. A quick bulk edit.
Oh, I think your audio's cut out there. Your audio's cut out there a bit, Sid. Let me see.
Lost you there for a second.
Keep going ahead, Sid. I think your audio's cut in there just a bit.
Okay, yeah, okay, I've got you again. I thought I lost you for a second. Was hoping that we wouldn't have to face technical difficulties, but you go live, it's just kind of how it works.
There we go. This is literally a live demo, so we're working on all the internet things of stuff here. So let's do the screen share again. So you had just gotten the measures back in. You had just made a bunch of new measures using Copilot. The Copilot was then, we just saw you finishing out the averages for all those same columns, and we were just about ready to go, I guess, push those changes back into our model again.
Yeah, we can do that right now. Let's just get it done. So let's just hit Control S so we're saved.
Yeah.
Changes are here. Add the changes. Add average sales COGS profit. Commit those.
There we go.
Let's take a look, sync our changes. Let's see those reflected too.
Oh, I love this experience. Dude, I'm so excited. This is so exciting to me. Like this changes so much of what we can do now. We can now influence this. We can now build like groups of measures that we reuse across models. I can build definition of common tables that I want to reuse in different models, and everything's the same. Like this is really going to open up the world for a lot of new, even just the developer experience of just like how you build models, master models and mini models. I think this is going to impact everything we do.
It really is. Yeah, you can just have your set of TMDL objects that you reuse across all your models, standardized for your organization. Your entire organization, down to whatever teams work with individual semantic models, can reuse the same general templates just so you can have that consistency between every team that works on a different model. It's going to be great. The future is looking incredible. I'm so glad you're excited about this because we're super excited about this too on the product team.
Heck yeah.
All right, Mike. So now we've got a little bit of the simple stuff done. I mean, I want to open it up to you. What changes do you want to see?
And this is also really interesting, I think, as well here. So, Sid, you're inside some of the model right now. There are some interesting things we can do here as well. So while you're editing there, so behind the scenes here, Sid and I have done a little bit of like additional homework here, and Sid's editing currently a video, or basically doing in the editor right now. We opened up a live share. So VS Code has this incredible feature of being able to share a link with somebody in order to see other people in the code here. And I'm not sure if Sid's still video is still running there. So I will try to use my cursor here. Sid's in the model right now. And what I can do is put my cursor on the page here, and I'm hoping my cursor will show up there. On the screen now, my cursor now shows. So Sid is able to watch me. So both Sid and I, with the power of VS Code, we can actually be in the same object model here. And again, I don't know all the things about measures here, but I can say, maybe I want to add some more details around this particular measure, average cost of goods. Sid, help me out here, man. I don't remember what's another property we should be adding to this measure. Maybe we want to add a description to this measure. So I know, I think I can do that here in TMDL. If I remember correctly, the syntax would be maybe go in front of the measure here. And do I just do 3 slashes and then the description here?
You know, actually, I thought of another idea. Let's so these measures that we calculated here, we probably want to get them as strings and we want to format them as dollar values. Let's try doing that instead.
I love
that's
it.
That's another great demonstration for one of the properties here, the format string property. So.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's get.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you know to write the syntax for the right? All right, let's see if we can add a format string. So I go down here. I'm in data type. I just made an enter at the end of that. So we're going to start typing the word format. And on my screen, which you can't see on Sid's, it's auto-populating for me the word format string. So I'm clicking on my screen right now. Boom. It's automatically populating that whole item. And I put my syntax next to it. And again, on my screen also, it's also showing me like, what is the syntax I want to show here? So I can do 0.0 and like, now it puts the syntax in there right for me. So I did it on this measure, but maybe Sid, maybe you want to go edit a different measure. So let's maybe go to a different measure and see what you can do. And maybe we can knock this out together real quick here. I'll put a couple format strings in here while you do the same work.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this here. So format, okay, already we see that autocomplete is coming in to save the day. It shows us what the option is for what we can potentially put as properties here. And actually, if I don't even type that in, what you see right here, the shadow completion right there is actually from GitHub Copilot. So
I love it. I love it.
We'll ignore that for a second. And if I just hit Control Space here, these are all of our options for object properties that we could potentially add. I'm just going to select the format string one. There it is. Boom. You know what's actually interesting here is GitHub Copilot did get it wrong. That is not exactly a format string. It's something more like let's see, like something like this.
Oh, that's a better one. Yeah. Well, I guess I better go back and fix my other ones I have above here. So while you're working on that one, I'll go fix my other strings down here.
Yeah, you know, I actually forgot the format string syntax. I guess you can see that this is a live demo. Completely forgot this one. So let me go hop on over real quick and figure out what that format string syntax is.
Nice. This feels like a feature in the future here that we'll get through this format string. This sounds like a feature I should start asking Copilot how to do this kind of stuff.
Oh, that is a good idea. Yeah, let me forget about documentation there. Let me just ask the Copilot real quick. Let's see if it does pick up on how to do this. So let's see. Control I, add a format string for add value formats.
Yeah, let's try that
as a dollar value.
Dude, I'm telling you, the Copilot features of things are
pretty
incredible.
Legit to me.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And we do have to make sure string instead, which if I just type in S, that's the autocomplete option. Or if I didn't want to do that, I could do this instead. Look at all the possible values that we could add in here. Format string.
This is sick.
But I want to go string.
Love this.
So yeah, let's give that a shot.
What else?
Yeah, I'm going to delete this description quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I guess I just keep getting that little cutout thing again. Folks, it's all live. So difficulties will be had. What were you just saying there, Mike?
Hey, Sid, do me a favor there on your end. Because we're doing a live share between the two items, we're actually sharing our code between the two VS codes. Maybe you can go out there and disconnect the live share. So I think if you just go to the live share option and turn that off, and then maybe that'll help us with the VS code. We're probably using a lot of bandwidth between sharing code between our two computers.
You know what? That may be it. Okay, I just turned that off.
Yeah.
I've got you back.
Okay, good.
Let me make sure something isn't going wrong with the actual live stream setup here. So
okay, no worries.
Yeah. Yep, I see your video and everything. For a second, whenever I see it cut out, I also do see a frozen, like the screen freezes or whatever. So yeah. It might actually be my laptop. I'll have to get that checked out at some point. But let me reshare again and let's get back to work on this thing.
Love it. All right, I see the share coming back in.
All right.
I'll turn the screen on here once it shows up. Not seeing the screen share yet. Waiting for it to show up here.
Try this again. Is it back this time?
We got it.
Okay, perfect, perfect. It's back. All right, let's take a look real quick. Let me just wrap this one up here. Add this. Change profit to $string.
Love it. Yep, perfect. And I always recommend whenever we're working on these things with teams of people, right? It's extremely useful to when you're committing messages or you're talking about what your changes are, right? I think the methodology here is commit often, commit frequently, right? Little changes, right? You're just adding 3 or 4 measures. I added these measures, name them, right? Because if we're thinking about Git and how you integrate with Git, the more smaller changes that you make, the easier it is for you to like roll back something that was screwed up or wrong or just incorrect. So when you're building models like this, I think this is going to actually change how we build things as a team. And we don't want to build monolithic, massive changes all the time. It's okay to build a couple little measures here and there and commit changes frequently and often. So just a general methodology as you're building things with code and particularly VS Code here, a best practice would be commit often and commit little changes. That way you can see those changes and it makes it much easier to manage from an administration standpoint on the code base.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And this is something that we're going to have another session on, Mike, honestly. It's just the power of working in teams, specifically with TMDL, what you've had to do before.
Your audio is cutting.
Maybe you've had to share around a PBIX file
so
or something to make changes.
Do me a favor. Can you close out PowerPoint? Maybe PowerPoint's eating up so many extra resources on your machine. Could you just, yeah,
sure.
Maybe close out. Try it again. Maybe just say that last part again one more time, and maybe we can give a wrap up here, and we'll call this one a good session and demo. I definitely think we're going to need some follow-ups on this one. Follow-ups definitely around like what are all the things we can do, all the collaboration items that we've got here. I think we're just scratching the surface of how this is going to change everything moving forward. All right, with that, I'm going to probably cut it here. So you keep cutting out. The internet connection is not working so hot. So let's just get back to the video. We'll wrap it there. There's probably more to come with TMDL. So today, I just want to be very clear. We are announcing the editor, TMDL editor for VS Code. It's now out. You can go edit TMDL. You can go link your workspaces using the TMDL format, and then all that can work seamlessly with your desktop and in the service, and now with VS Code. So really cool feature. Very excited about this one. One thing I'll just note here is if you're going to use this feature, you need to be very careful. This won't work with existing like reports created in the service. This won't work with PBIX files that have been published to the service. You have to set up your project as a PBIP project initially, get that project loaded into Git, and then connect that Git repo directly to your workspace. So there is a little bit of configuration set up. So I think that should be probably our next video real quick is getting this thing set up and how to do an immediate Git repo build of the PBIP format, getting it directly into a Git repo, and then pushing it up to a workspace. That way, when people start developing, they actually have this experience of like, this is just built in. It just works a lot better. I'm assuming some things here that over time, this will get easier to build from the team, and we won't have to do any kind of initial setup. We'll be able to publish from desktop, and all of this will just work in the PBIR and the PBIP format eventually. Again, I'm reading the tea leaves here a little bit. You haven't told me anything about this, but I'm guessing we're going to continue to remove friction around making this the default experience inside the service.
Yeah, they're not going to let me promise anything, but I can say that you're a good tea leaf reader. That's all. That's all I can say about that.
Well, directionally, this makes sense, right? If this is the way we're going to be building things in the future, this feels to me like the way we're going to go. It's going to be this way. It's going to be in the PBIR format, and the PBIR format was announced at Fabric Conference, and you did a great session just explaining that whole tool, why it was there, and how deep it was. So, great demo today. Sorry for the connection issues on some of these pieces here, but we'll get that dialed in and figured out for our next video. So we really appreciate you, the audience. Thank you so much. Go out, download TMDL Editor. The description is in the video here as well as Sid's also got an amazing documentation in the description as well. So go check out Tabular Definition Model Language, what is TMDL, and then go get the PBIP project documentation. Again, all this stuff is building on top of itself and making a premium experience for us developers. Sid, thank you so much for your time. The demo was amazing. I'm looking forward to many more of these. We appreciate you. And everyone, thank you for listening and watching. We'll see you next time on a couple more quick tips, and they will definitely include the TMDL editors moving forward. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.